Wendy Crew in Birmingham, yeah. She's helped me with the bar complaint because I had no idea, how to go about something like that. So she and I talked, and I told her my story, and she thought that it was something that needed to be brought up to the Bar Association. That's him right there. His name was Steve. He died September the 18th, 2006. So when my son died in a car accident, and we found out that, it was because of how the road was built, we filed a wrongful death suit with Weaver and King. And then eventually they turned it over to a firm in Birmingham because they thought they had more expertise. I would call every so often and check on it, but about a year later, my husband and I separated, and I filed for divorce. And after I moved over here to be close to my family, I would call back every so often, every 6 to 8 weeks, and ask them about that case, because me and my son were having a very hard time, and we were struggling. And I would call them, and eventually they told me when I called one day not to call back, that when they heard something they would let me know. Nothing's happened. I never imagined that they would not ever call me and tell me it was settled. My attorney questioned my husband about the case. Had he heard anything about it? And he said, yes, it was settled a year and a half ago. In fact, the judge stopped the proceedings and I guess to question everybody what was going on. I didn't understand what was going on. But my attorney had an assistant attorney there sitting beside me, and I said, what's going on? Why is everybody leaving, And the attorneys and the judge. And she said, well, that was very illegal for them not to tell you. They've been holding your money for a year and a half. And they had actually settled it in January of 2009. They took their part, their attorney fees out, and then kept my money. That's the money that Jack Weaver held, was from his death. He held that money while me and my son struggled terribly. And he knew I was very sick and was life-flighted to the hospital. He kept my money that whole time. I got very sick and had to be life-flighted to Birmingham. And the hospital employees donated their paid vacation time to help me, because I couldn't miss a paycheck. I mean, we would just been in dire straits. And all that money had been sitting there. And it wasn't available to me and my son. And they did that. I just looked at Jack when I got on the stand. I said, I can't believe you didn't tell me. I said, I just can't believe it. It took me, I was paying, that helicopter ride was $20,000. And I was paying $25 a week. And that was all I could afford to pay them. And all that money sitting over there in Jack Weaver's account. Chris King and Jack Weaver had all that money in mine. And there we were, just suffering, just barely making ends meet. Never got an apology, never got an explanation. They're very arrogant about it. Like nothing was going to happen to them, nothing. They could just do what they wanted to do and hurt who they wanted to hurt with money that wasn't theirs. I've just received notice yesterday from the Bar Association, from the General Counsel, that both Chris King and Jack Weaver are under investigation for the things that they've done. And the Bar Association also said that they would let me know as it progressed and let me know the outcome of it. But right now it's just under investigation. I hope they disbar them, because if they did it to me, and I didn't know either one of them, they did it to me, a complete stranger. It'd be bad enough if you knew somebody, but they did it to me, and Jack Weaver's running for judge. What would he do when he sits on the bench? What would he do to people coming before him that expect justice? He's an officer of the court, and so is Chris. And when you go to them, you expect to get ethical and moral and legal representation, and not for them to be stealing from you and harming you, and their unethical behavior. It's just amazing to me that they were doing it. And my goodness, if that hadn't come up in court and it's public record for everyone to see, and they were caught at it, how long has this been going on? How many other people have they done it to? And what would Jack do when he's judge? If he's continued this type of behavior in his private law practice, what would he do when you expect to go in a courtroom and find justice? You won't get it.